What is up, Minnesota high school football fans? I'm here with the state winning, at least for 2025, head coach for Annandale's football program. You're coming off a really good year. Coach, how you doing?
Yeah, real good. Thanks for having me, Caleb.
It's good to have you back. You made an appearance on last year's podcast, which I appreciate, and I hope your community enjoyed a little bit. And hey, like you said, might have gave you, I don't want to take full credit for it, but
I'm gonna
maybe.
give you the credit. I mean, you were at our Holy Family game, and that was a big game of the year, and it kind of spurred us to get going. We were losing. That's the only time we trailed all year. We trailed for 2 minutes in that game. Right at the end of the half was the only time we trailed, and we turned it around, and we're pretty impressive after that the rest of the year.
Yeah, I got to watch the 2 quarters that you were down of the whole season.
The 2 minutes, man. It wasn't 2 quarters, just 2 minutes. We drilled it out. That's it.
All right.
That was last year, though.
Right. Yeah. Moving on. Give me your career arc of kind of like what led you to get Annandale's position. I know you've been there for a while now. I think 10 or plus years. But just give me the rundown from little you going up and like your first job into coaching and kind of how you got this position.
Yeah, I've been in Annandale. This will be my 27th year in Annandale as a head coach. So I've been there a while. I graduated from college. I went to what was that?
When did the program start?
When did the program start? What?
Just the football program, because I know Lundine's been there since I think he was like the only coach in their program's history. Do you know how many coaches
like
were
150 years old?
Trust me, I'm not calling you as old as him, but I'm just saying, have you been the head coach for like most of the time, years wise, of Annandale's? Or
no. Annandale football's been going on for a long time.
Okay,
a long time. Yeah, just the last quarter century for me.
Right,
is it? But I mean, I got a teaching job there. I was in Chippewa Falls for a couple of years. I got a job there, and Annandale was actually on a 19-game losing streak when I took over. I was lucky enough to win the first 2 games. I think we won 3 games that year, and then we kind of struggled. And the more I look back on it, we were a really small school in a really big conference. Like, we used to play Hutchinson, we used to play Becker, Orono, Waconia, Delano. Glencoe was a power at the time. And so, I mean, our teams weren't really horrible, but our competition we were playing, we just didn't fit in. Us and kind of Watertown Mayor were the 2 smallest schools in the conference. And I think that, when the state started doing the scheduling, it really helped us out because now we're playing schools our size, and we've had a ton of success from then. 11 and 12, we made it to the state tournament. We made it to the state tournament in 2011, and we were 3-5 in the regular season. And we ended up winning our section and ended up making the state semifinals at the Dome. But the last, 8 to 10 years, we've had a really nice run. Our kids have done a great job. Our kids do a great job in the weight room. Our school's been great. Our administration's been great. We're really well supported. And we've been on a roll right now. I mean, obviously, we're one of the bigger schools in 3A, which helps right now. Our roster, is always pretty, decent, good size. So we go into games, and we're typically deeper than teams we play. So we've been on the up and up, and we knocked on the door the last few years. Last year, we're to kick the door down a little bit, and hopefully, that continues. So it's been a fun run so far.
You kind of touched on it. One of my things is when was Annandale not good? Because I mean, it being new to the scene, it's kind of going back doing research. It's like, oh yeah, it's one of these programs where it's kind of just like, yes, you can kind of count on them to be like one of those teams in whatever class they're going to be. And then how much pride do you take in the consistency with high school turnover being what it is and having to replace positions, on the yearly as seniors graduate? Just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, if you would ask me when I started head coach in 2000, that we'd be where we're at right now, I would be like, you're crazy. I used to go to the Dome every year and watch the Beckers and the Delanos and Glencoes and those schools. It was the same schools every year that just dominate. Like I said, our kids, our parents, our community has bought in, which has been a big part of it. And since 2018, I mean, we've been, one of the dogs in the food chain in Class 3A. And, Now it's just the standard. I mean, we go in each year, now we expect to go to state. I mean, that's our goal. We don't really talk a lot about the regular season. From the first day of practice to the season ends, it's what do we need to do to win a section championship? And I think just that focus, and our kids expect that. We don't burn our kids out in the summertime because we expect to be playing in November. So it's just been really consistent. Our kids do the work. I have a great coaching staff who's been together for a long time. We've had so little turnover in coaches, which I think has really made our program consistent. And our kids have bought in, the parents have bought in, our community's bought in, which is always big.
Yes. Have you been there for so long? You often hear like the message. Well, I guess really in high school it's a little different now thinking about it. Like the messaging gets stale. But really in high school, I mean, you can probably keep the same motto for however long, and if the kids are rotating as much as they are, your message doesn't get stale. Or what's your program motto? Have you changed it in your tenure, or has it just been the same the whole time?
It's kind of the same thing. I mean, we just talk about family, that you show up for your brothers, every week and every day at practice, you hold each other accountable. Like I said, I think just the consistency with our coaches is the greatest thing. I mean, we come in, like, we don't have to have coaches meetings to start the season. And our coaches all know what they're doing. They all know our scheme. We've been replacing a little bit. Like, we have a new D coordinator this year. Our last year's D coordinator is still coming back and volunteering with ninth grade. So we're still going to have that person off, around as a sounding board. But we got some former players that have come back and helped coach with us, volunteer. We get 3 or 4 volunteer coaches. That's helped. They've been in the program. They understand what we do. And I think as coaches, we've been just really consistent. We try to be consistent with our kids. And you come to our practice on Monday, you never know if we won or lost. I mean, we're not harping the kids. It's like, what do we need to, every Monday, what do we need to do to get better this week? It doesn't matter if we won the game or lost the game. It's kind of playing to the standard and getting our goal of the section championship. And that's how we approach it. I think our kids have a really good mindset with that. It's like, just get better every week, trying to keep getting better. And at the end of the year, hopefully we reach our goal to get back to the state tournament. And then once you get to state, you see what happens. You roll it out there and give it all you have and see how the matchup is.
What is in your experience now? What is the difference between, let's say, I don't know, maybe a section championship and you lose after that compared to the off season, just talking off season wise, of coming off an undefeated season where you guys had all the success in the world, won the state title, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, we made it. And now your off season leads you to another one. It's like, oh, that was cool, but I guess it's not the top of the mountain because we got to go do it again.
Yeah. I think we've been really consistent in our off season. We don't kill our kids in the off season. Annandale is a resort community. It's a lake community. And our kids work. We have a ton of kids that work. We give our kids multiple weight room options. Our kids lift hard in the summertime. We don't do team camps or anything in the summer. We do a lot of 7-on-7. We throw. We work our skilled kids. We throw during the week. Get our 11 days in that way. But our motto, I mean, it's going to be consistent. Like, we're not going to be complacent. I mean, every year's a new year. Like, when we lost in the state championship to Stewartville in 2023, back in 2024, we didn't talk about that. We aren't going to talk about the state championship this year. When we start on August 17th, it's going to be all about 2026. It's a whole new team. It's a whole new group of seniors that need to lead the way. And every year is its own entity. You start from scratch. Our goal is to get a first down, during the season. Our goal is to stop the other team, and we'll take it from there and just keep building. Every season looks a little bit different, and we're okay with that. It's just the process, and we're focused on the goal. We want to win the section championship. If we don't win that, we don't think we had a successful year. It doesn't matter what we did before that. And that's what we preach with our kids. And every day we practice, and that's throughout the season. We don't really focus on the teams that we're practicing against. I mean, obviously we prepare for Holy Family, Foley, these types of teams we're playing. But everything we do is to get ready to win the section championship. Who do we have to beat in our section to get there? And we're making sure that we're working towards that goal every day at practice, building depth in case guys go down later in the season. So we have players that can step in and play for us.
You guys also are able to practice with your depth a lot last season because they were able to get game reps because you guys are up by so much.
Yeah.
But you guys got some guys returning for each from what I saw, a handful of dudes on the offense, handful of guys on the defense. Do you really see like in the way that you were winning last year changing a whole lot? Because I know, like, in high school programs, you have different identities for each year. Have you been able to, like, diagnose that yet? Is that kinda something that you're gonna see in fall camp or what have you?
Yeah, that's one reason why in the summertime, we throw a lot and things like that. I mean, we had a 6'4" receiver who's going to Winona State. We had another 6'3" receiver who was supposed to come back. He got hurt playing basketball. We won't have them this year. But I mean, we don't have that anymore. We don't have that size on the outside. We had a veteran running back. We had a veteran offensive line, a senior loaded offensive line. So things will change. Our offense will look a little bit different. Obviously, we'll do some things that are the same. But we were a fade team last year. We got inside the 20-yard line. We were throwing the ball up. And I don't think you're going to see that a whole lot this year just because we don't have those type of kids. So you're going to see us do a few different things. But that's what we spend the summertime doing, is kind of looking at the talent we have. What's the best way for us to be able to move the football? Our D-line last year, our linebackers were elite last year. We were dominant. We had the second best defense in the state, no matter what class it was. Obviously, we're replacing all those kids. The defense is going to look a little bit different. But it's just part of the process of adjusting. I think we have a pretty good idea what our kids can do going into the season. And then that's why you play the regular season. We look at it, what adjustments do we have to make, to be able to stop the run, to stop, this team's best receiver. So that's something we'll be working on all season long.
You guys are the direct evidence of, if you have two quarterbacks, you really don't have any. And that's kind of a saying, but I think you guys were able to prove that wrong last season of kind of having a rotation at quarterback. And now I think one of them's graduated and moving on. So now it's most likely going to be kind of just a sole guy there, I would assume.
Don't assume anything, Caleb. Don't assume anything, man. It's about competition. I mean, last year, Michael Koval was our quarterback when he was a junior. He got hurt the second game of the year. And then Braylon Folby came in. After a couple of weeks, we had another senior that played in there. And then coming back, we had two quarterbacks with experience coming back. So, I mean, we looked at them both, and, we thought they both could help us. We didn't have to change our offense with it, and it worked out great for us. We were 13-0 and really deep with that. So, obviously, Braylon comes back with a lot of experience, but we believe in competition. We have another senior competing with Braylon, Grady Miller, who's talented, has very good arm talent, and we'll see. I mean, if we feel that it works out, it's best for our team, we'll play in both. If we feel one quarterback's better than the other, then we'll stick with one. But that's something we'll decide in the first couple of weeks of the season. It's nice to have depth. I mean, you rotate running backs during the year, you rotate linebackers during the year, and as long as you don't have to change your system, we really didn't have an issue last year with our quarterbacks at all.
One of my last two questions. Tell me if I'm making this up, but one of the things I noticed when watching you guys is you kind of do this little muddle huddle when you kind of do a little huddle and your line just turns around, sprints to the ball, and you guys snap it as fast as you can. I think it really is, I mean, it's really unique to you guys because I don't see really anybody doing it around state. And I think, I mean, you can see what it does because you guys do have a lot of success. Where did that come from? Am I making that up?
Yeah, you're making it up. I'm not giving away anything, Caleb. I don't know where you're talking. Muddle huddle. I don't know what you're talking about, man. We just play football. No, it's funny. It just kind of gives a change of tempo. We actually put it in years ago. We were playing Waconia, and Max Williams was playing linebacker for Waconia, and we didn't want to deal with him. So actually, we ran it as a no huddle, and wherever Max was at, we just ran the ball the other side. It's like we weren't going to mess with him. We weren't going to deal with him. And he got so tired from trying to chase us down that he actually never finished the game. We ended up winning the game. And it's like, so we use it as a change of tempo. It allows the teams that see us a lot, they adjust to a little bit. Teams that haven't seen us, I mean, they really have a hard time with it. And it just allows us to play at a different pace, to play a little bit of power football. We're tight. We have our biggest kids in the game, our strongest kids in the game. We do keep a receiver in the game. We mess around with the receiver. Sometimes he's on the strong side, sometimes on the weak side. Sometimes we switch our backs. But it was just one of those things. You see the Bills do it every once in a while. They run that little huddle. And it just allows us to change the pace of the game. Like maybe we're rolling a team, we can just keep rolling them. Or if we're struggling, just moving the football, we know that's kind of our go-to that we can get. So we don't use it all the time, but it's just nice to have in your back pocket if you need something. And it's been really effective for us. Our kids laugh because when we run it, it's so basic. The kids are like, oh, we throw the ball, we run all these trick plays all the way down the field. And as soon as we get 20-yard line, we run the ball right up the middle, running our no huddle stuff. And they're like, it's so boring. It's like, it's supposed to be boring. It works, So yeah, but it's just a way for us to control the ball a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Kind of again, it feels like you kind of are looking at my note sheet while I'm going down it. But what are your expectations for the season, and like define what a successful season is for Annandale for 2026?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to win the section championship. I mean, that's kind of the standard. That's the goal. That's what we preach with our kids. I mean, we always tell, football's interesting. I mean, I've been on both ends. I've been losing. I think my first 10 years, I might have had 10 wins, so I've been on both ends of the spectrum, especially getting older. We want to make it a good experience for our kids. I mean, football is a great game. 99% of these kids aren't going on to play anything else. So with our program, we try to make it a good experience for all the kids. And that's something we focus, relationships and, making it fun and working. And hopefully the kids learn the values of working hard. And we try to do that as we're getting ready for the season. Like I said, we lose a game, we're not hard on our kids. We're not any harder than if we win a game. It's like we're going to work every week, just trying to get better. But, like I said, the standard for our program is to get back to the state tournament. And I don't think we're ever going to change that expectation. We're ever going to change that standard. And there are years that we don't make it. In 2022, we didn't make it. But, we started the season 1-4, ended up, going 4-1 in our last 5 games, took the number 1 seed into overtime. And that was a great year. I mean, it was one of those years we were really happy with because we got better every week. I thought we were playing our best football at the end of the year. I feel that's our job as coaches. So I'm not going to put a win total on our goal, but, we're going to talk to our kids the first day, and we talk to them all summer. It's section championship. We want that, and that's what we're going to strive for, and we're going to do everything we can to try to get there.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I can't wait to watch Annandale play this fall and go win another state championship. How about it?
I would love it, to be honest. Thanks for having us, Caleb. I love what you guys do. This is the greatest show in the entire world. Appreciate it.